What's up, everyone? We're diving into 10 games that'll make you want to dust off your Switch, or maybe finally upgrade to that Switch too. These aren't just ports or remasters. We're talking about brand new experiences that could define the next few years of gaming. So here's the deal with this one. It's been through more development cycles than I care to count. The original Sands of Time from 2003 told the story of an unnamed prince who basically screws up everything by releasing magical sand that turns people into monsters. His father's army captures this mystical hourglass called the Sands of Time, and through some political scheming by a treacherous vizier, our prince accidentally unleashes these sands in a palace. Now everyone's either dead or transformed into nightmarish creatures, and it's up to him to fix his mistake. The story works because you're literally rewinding time to undo your screw-ups, both in gameplay and narrative. This remake has been delayed since 2020, switching studios from Ubisoft Mumbai to Ubisoft Montreal, and honestly, I'm cautiously optimistic about the extra development time.
I brought this on us.
You are brave and good.
Don't let go!
If you've never played Kingdom Hearts, imagine Disney characters teaming up with Final Fantasy heroes in the most convoluted plot you can think of. Then multiply that by 10. Kingdom Hearts 4 picks up after the events of Kingdom Hearts 3, where our spiky-haired protagonist Sora has been transported to Quadratum, basically a realistic version of Tokyo that looks nothing like the colorful Disney worlds we're used to. He's trapped there while Donald and Goofy are trying to rescue him from the regular Kingdom Hearts universe. The story begins the Lost Master arc, which means we're diving into even deeper lore about Keyblade Masters and ancient mysteries. What makes this interesting is the drastically different art style. Sora looks almost photorealistic now, which honestly feels weird after decades of cartoon-style adventures. I'm curious how they'll balance this realistic setting with the traditional Disney magic, especially since we know Disney worlds are still coming. After nearly 8 years of waiting, we're finally getting the next chapter in Samus Aran's story. The game takes place after the destruction of Phazon, and Samus finds herself stranded on a planet called Vieuros. Think overgrown alien jungle meets ancient ruins. She's gained these new psychic abilities that let her manipulate her beam shots mid-flight and interact with alien technology in ways we haven't seen before. The big narrative hook is her confrontation with Sylux, a rival bounty hunter who's had a grudge against the Galactic Federation since the DS games. What caught my attention is how they're handling the story. It feels more personal and survival-focused compared to the galaxy-spanning threats of previous games. The development was completely restarted in 2019 when Nintendo handed it back to Retro Studios, and honestly, that was probably the right call. This feels like a proper return to form for the series. This one's been making waves in early access, and for good reason. You play as someone who moves to the village of Mistria after an earthquake has basically wrecked the place. The town leaders offer you this overgrown farm in exchange for helping rebuild their community, which sounds like every farming sim ever, right? But here's where it gets interesting. There's actual magic in this world, and the earthquake has awakened ancient forces that you'll need to deal with. You're not just growing crops and making friends. You're literally helping restore a town while uncovering magical mysteries tied to dragon statues and ancient civilizations. The story strikes this perfect balance between cozy village life and genuine adventure. What sets it apart is how the villagers actually interact with each other. They gather at the inn every Friday night for D&D sessions and book clubs, making it feel like a real community rather than just NPCs waiting for you to talk to them. This is where things get complicated if you're new to the series. Trails Beyond the Horizon is the 13th game in an interconnected storyline that's been building for over 20 years. The story follows Detective Van Arkride in the Calvard Republic as humanity prepares for its first rocket launch, a moment that's supposedly going to change everything. What makes this series special is how every game connects to the others with characters and plot threads spanning multiple countries and decades. If you've never played a Trails game, think of it like jumping into Marvel movies at Endgame. You'll probably be lost, but the spectacle might still hook you. The writing is dense, The world building is extensive, and the political intrigue runs deep. This particular entry is being billed as a major turning point for the entire series. Honestly, if you're thinking about getting into Trails, this probably isn't the place to start, but longtime fans are going to lose their minds over it. Hey, quick pause here. If you're enjoying this look at some of Switch's finest games, hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Let me know in the comments which of these games you've played or are excited to try. Now, let's continue with our lineup. This game has one of the more interesting development stories I've come across. It started as a successful Kickstarter back in 2015, promising this unique blend of action-adventure and survival elements, set in a 19th century-inspired world. The story follows explorers who investigate supernatural events and hunt monsters. Think of it like a Victorian-era version of Ghostbusters meets Monster Hunter. You're essentially running a business where you take contracts to investigate paranormal activities, but it's not all monster slaying. The game focuses heavily on the daily lives of these explorers and what it's like to have such an unusual job. The world has this surreal but familiar quality where you're dealing with bureaucracy and mundane life problems alongside fighting supernatural creatures. Development has been rocky. They've switched engines, downsized their team, and dealt with internal conflicts, but they finally showed new gameplay footage in 2024. It's one of those games that could be brilliant if they pull it off, but the long development cycle has me cautiously optimistic. The Professor Layton series has always been about mysteries, puzzles, and that distinctly British charm that makes you want to drink tea while solving brain teasers. In the new world of Steam, Professor Layton travels to Steam Bison, an American city where Steam technology has advanced beyond anything in London. His former assistant Luke has become a local detective, but they're dealing with a supernatural threat, a ghostly cowboy called Gunman King Joe who's warning against technological progress. The story blends the series' traditional puzzle solving with steampunk elements and Wild West themes, which is honestly a combination I never knew I wanted. What makes these games work is how they balance lighthearted puzzle solving with genuinely intriguing mysteries that often have emotional depth. Level 5 knows how to craft stories that seem simple on the surface, but deal with themes of loss, family, and human connection underneath all those sliding block puzzles. If you're new to the series, this looks like a solid entry point. This one takes us back to the Kalos region from Pokemon X and Y, but with a twist. Instead of exploring the countryside, the entire game takes place in Lumiosi City, which is undergoing this massive urban redevelopment project led by a mysterious company called Quasartico Inc. You're basically watching and participating in the transformation of a city that's trying to become a better place for both people and Pokemon to live together. The story brings back AZ, that immortal king character from X and Y, who now runs Hotel Z and seems to be central to whatever's happening with the city's transformation. What's interesting is that this isn't set in the past like Legends. Arceus, this is the future of the Kalos region, showing us how the world has evolved. The return of Mega Evolution after being absent for years is huge for longtime fans, and the real-time battle system where both trainers and Pokemon move around freely could completely change how Pokemon battles feel.
Lead your partner Pokemon through battles and dodge incoming attacks. Swap Pokemon if you need to and find the right moment to unleash a move. What's more, certain Pokemon can go beyond evolution.
Constance tells the story of an artist who finds herself trapped inside her own deteriorating mind, which manifests as 6 different biomes representing various aspects of her mental health struggles. Armed with a magical paintbrush, she can transform into liquid paint to navigate through walls and battle the corruption consuming her inner world. The game tackles themes of creativity, work-life balance, and self-doubt through playable flashbacks that explore how personal struggles affect artistic expression. What makes this particularly compelling is that it's based on the developer's own experiences with panic attacks and mental health issues. So there's an authenticity here that you don't often see in games. The hand-drawn animation looks stunning, with each frame carefully crafted to represent different psychological states. It's releasing on PC first in November, with console versions, including Switch, coming in 2020. 2026. This feels like one of those smaller games that could really surprise people if it finds the right audience. Dreadout is an Indonesian horror series that puts you in the shoes of Linda, who's evolved from a high school student in the first game to a supernatural guardian called a Keeper of the Dark. When mysterious forces threaten the balance between light and darkness, she ventures into interdimensional spaces to find the source, armed with her smartphone camera to capture and fight spirits. What makes this series unique is its focus on Indonesian folklore. You're dealing with creatures like the Kuntilanak, a vengeful spirit of women who died in childbirth, and the Pokong, a ghost trapped in burial shrouds. The game blends traditional Malay mythology with modern horror in ways that feel authentically Indonesian rather than generic. If you've never experienced Southeast Asian horror, this offers supernatural elements that are genuinely different from Western or Japanese horror games. It's currently planned for PC in 2026, with console versions uncertain. The previous games had some rough edges, but they created a unique atmosphere that's worth experiencing if you're looking for something different in the horror space. Hey, let me know what you think about these games. Maybe you've played some and have a different take, or maybe something here caught your eye. Drop a comment, let's chat about it. See you in the next one.